New York City is tightening security in advance of former President Donald Trump's appearance next week. CBS News has learned Mr. Trump will be arraigned on Tuesday. The proceedings will be brief. He will not be handcuffed and will be escorted by U.S. Secret Service agents. Robert Costa has our story.
Former President Trump's indictment has law enforcement in New York on high alert, with security increased around Manhattan Criminal Court and Trump Tower. Trump is expected to fly to New York Monday and overnight at his residence. Tuesday, he'll travel downtown to court, a movement involving over 100 Secret Service agents and other law enforcement. Once inside the courthouse, Trump will stand for a mugshot and be fingerprinted. He is unlikely to be handcuffed. And then he'll be arraigned at 2:15 p.m. The announcement of the indictment last night stunned the former president, especially after reports in recent days suggested the grand jury's work might have stalled. Sources say the indictment could include about 30 counts related to the alleged falsification of records involving the $130,000 in hush money payments Michael Cohen made to Stormy Daniels for her silence in the final days of the 2016 campaign.
I think that number relates to the different checks that we know he signed for Michael Cohen to reimburse for the hush money payment. There were 11 checks, and each of them could give rise to 1 or 2 or 3 counts.
And they've made that clear to us.
Trump's lawyer said the former president would not accept a plea deal, arguing the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, has no case.
How a state prosecutor is going to prosecute a federal election campaign violation, which they think is a violation, which clearly isn't if you understand the law, I really have no idea.
Trump, who dined at Mar-a-Lago with wife Melania Thursday night, blasted the indictment by what he called these thugs and radical left monsters. While privately fuming, allies say Trump is convinced Republicans will keep rallying to his side and not give an opening to rivals like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
I know voodoo's legal in New York, but this is legal voodoo.
The unprecedented indictment of a former president of the United States for a campaign finance issue is an outrage.
Today, Bragg hit back at Republicans who have claimed that the investigation was politically motivated, calling that baseless and inflammatory. The heated rhetoric has New York law enforcement bracing for violence next week. After Trump's indictment, some on social media called for war and said it's time for a real insurrection. Former NYPD Commissioner Bill Bratton.
What most worries the NYPD at a moment like this?
Lone wolf. A lone wolf who is not bragging on social media that he's going to do this or going to do that. But somebody that all of a sudden shows up who's not on the radar, who has a grievance, whether it's a grievance against the president, grievance against now the district attorney. It's the unknown that's always of great concern.
And Robert Costa joins us now, as well as CBS News Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett. Robert, let's begin with you. Are additional security measures being planned and developed for next week, specifically for Mr. Trump and the district attorney?
Yes, Catherine, and it's good to be with you from here outside Manhattan Criminal Court. Because he is a former president, Donald Trump will be accompanied by Secret Service agents at every turn when he arrives here at Manhattan Criminal Court on Tuesday next week for an open arraignment. And what you're going to see is an intense security presence that's already starting to build here in Lower Manhattan. Police officers seemingly at every pace, every few paces, in full dress uniform, under order, preparing for possible protests, metal barricades being put up. But for now, it's actually relatively quiet, a Friday night in New York City, the city going about its business.
Major, let's take that a step further. How will Tuesday's court appearance differ from other cases?
Well, this is a very different kind of defendant coming before the bench. A former president of the United States, the first time in our history that will be true. And everything about that movement of former President Trump from Mar-a-Lago to New York on Monday and Tuesday from Trump Tower to the courthouse will be recorded, not just for American consumption, video and otherwise, but globally. And all of that will bring with it not only concerns in the immediate term about security for the district attorney, security for the former president, security for all those who go in and out of the courthouse, but long term for the judge, if this goes to trial, for the jurors, and questions about how much discussion will there be of this case after Tuesday? Will there be a gag order in place? Will everyone have to keep quiet and just let the process of the trial or the process before the trial proceed, but largely with attorneys talking to each other in motions and procedures and a judge ruling and very little else. All of that makes this feel very, very different.
Robert, let's kind of go big picture here. Will the New York case have a ripple effect on other investigations, including the special counsel probes into January 6th and the Mar-a-Lago documents?
It's hard to see how it will have a direct ripple effect on any of these other investigations, though certainly some Trump allies are on edge about what this all could mean. Could it quicken the momentum of some of these other investigations to follow up with their own possible indictment? So there's a bit of speculation in Trump's orbit about what this all means, how it could play out, especially with Georgia. Fani Willis, the district attorney there, deciding whether she will open up a new criminal regular grand jury in Fulton County. And the special counsel remains hovering over Trump's entire 2024 presidential campaign. What exactly is he going to do when it comes to January 6th and Trump's handling of classified records?
Major, of all the investigations, this indictment is described by the Trump loyalists as being the weakest. So what's the political impact of this case going first?
Well, those who are supportive of the former president have already begun to make that argument that you just articulated, Catherine, that this is a weak case. It has no basis in law or history in New York. Well, guess what? We're going to find out on Tuesday what the district attorney and the grand jury that authorized this indictment believes about the facts, the evidence, and the underlying law in New York. And some of those accusations or characterizations from those sympathetic to the former president may melt under those facts and their relationship to the law, or they may be strengthened. The one thing we know for sure is this would be a novel or unique kind of prosecution based on what we understand about the evidence and the facts and law in New York. If it is unusual, then the district attorney is going to have to prove, not only in court, but into the court of public opinion, why this was the only remedy. This was the only way to handle a former president of the United States with these facts and the law. As to the other cases, they will stand on their own. They will be part of the fact and the law in their jurisdictions. But all of this creates around the former president not exactly a legal vice, but something legal that the former president and his supporters will have to deal with day by day, week by week, and it will become embedded, Catherine, in the political reality of a former president seeking the Republican nomination and a return to the White House.
Robert Costa and Major Garrett, thank you both for your reporting.